my least favorite Simpsons episode of all time for a very specific reason. While it's not the worst episode, I hate it for a very specific reason. I hate what it represents.
Okay.
This is, I believe, the finale of season 10. If not
10.
I think it's the finale of season 10.
Okay.
This is season 10, episode 23, 30 Minutes Over Tokyo.
Come on! Sayonara, suckers!
Yay! The Simpsons are going to Japan!
Hey, watch the gong, jerk.
This is the Simpsons Go to Tokyo
episode. Yeah.
Simpsons Go to Japan episode. Let me just get into it. I have so much to say. Okay. So it opens with Lisa asking Homer to take her to a cyber cafe, which is like, remember computer cafes were a thing? The internet was new at the time. Immediately, Homer starts acting overly idiotic. And it like, remember we talked about like, you said Homer's like, this is cruel Homer. And then I said, I don't like Homer when he goes too stupid.
Yes.
This is the beginning of the too stupid Homer era. This is right where this is like becoming his standard staple.
Well, I feel like
he's always just overly
he
too over the top.
He slides into too stupid throughout the course of the entire show, but by season 10,
this is where they're locking it in.
They're locking in that he's just dumb.
Yeah, he's just like over the top.
Yeah.
And it actually, I put a note here. It feels like his voice got goofier.
Probably.
I'll play 2 clips and you be the judge.
Burkina Faso? Disputed zone? Who called all these weird places? Quiet, it might be you. I can't remember. No, I'm gonna ask Marge. No. Why embarrass us both? Just write a check and I'll release some more endorphins. Oh. Hey, why didn't you tell me the new issue of Weird was here? I love their hilarious send-ups of hit movies.
Dad, it's not...
Gigabytes! They've done it again. Gigabytes. Wait, this isn't Weird. Why, there's no magazine called Weird, is there?
I don't know. That could just be me overreading things. Then Snake shows up, the resident criminal. They always use Snake for everything. And he robs Homer. Homer's like surfing on the web on like 2 computers. And then Snake comes up and he's like, this is a holdup. And uses a floppy drive to download Homer's money from his check, like his online bank account. Which doesn't make any sense. It's not a thing.
No, it's not.
But like Snake just like Homer's got his bank account up on his screen. Snake like puts a floppy disk in and like hits a key, and then it's like cartoonishly like drains his account, and he's got it on the floppy disk, and then he leaves. So now the Simpsons are broke. But
that
it's
makes
like
no sense.
That doesn't. Yeah, that's not how that works. But whatever. He then goes because now the Simpsons are desperate for money, so he goes and robs Ned Flanders. It's kind of a funny gag. I mean, because, Ned catches him, and he's like, now, Homer, you can't just keep robbing me every time you're low on money. And he's like, yes, sir. It's like, it's okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I don't really like when everybody just takes shots at Flanders. It feels too easy, personally. I don't know. That's me. And then Ned tells Homer that, oh, hey, we don't have it super well off. We penny pinch. Like, we're very careful. We're responsible with our money. You need to go to this seminar, and this seminar will show you how to save money. So the Simpsons go to the seminar, and it's like a typical motivational speaker that's like, you gotta squeeze every penny here, folks. It's like, this is how I'm the success that I am, I don't waste a dime. This suit, I got it off some dead guy. Like, it's It's one of those kind of seminars.
This is like the setup.
This is the setup.
I forgot all this,
Yeah, for good reason, because it fucking sucks. So the Simpsons save up to go on a vacation, which, by the way, at no point did they talk about like, we can't wait to go on a vacation. It's just like, I guess because they want to reward themselves for saving so well. Like out of nowhere, they're just like...
At no point were they like, we need to, like, this is why.
This was our money for our vacation. It was just more like, now we've saved up a lot. Let's go on vacation.
It would have made more sense if Snake robbed Homer somehow that they were like, oh no, that was the money for our vacation.
I don't. Okay, maybe they said it. If they did, I'll cut to it right now.
I don't know.
I'm certain they didn't. I don't think they do. So the Simpsons they get a tip that if they wait at the airport and someone cancels their tickets, then there will be super saver seats available. So they're waiting for for them to announce, like, attention, passenger people, attention, there are now super saver seats available, right?
Yeah.
So the seats become available for Japan. Cool. And this leads to the infamous, now, like, break my heart moment of Lisa saying this.
Yay! The Simpsons are going to Japan!
The Simpsons are going to Japan. And this, to me, this is why this episode is my least favorite of all time, because it's what it represents. This is how I feel. This is the episode that represents the beginning of the zombie era of Simpsons. It's this fucking episode. To me, this is the turning point. It never went back after this. This episode was establishing, welcome to the lazy writing era of Simpsons. We're never going back to how it was. This is the new standard format.
Now, I want to point out there's one single tiny joke.
I have it written down. Let's just say it right now. One clever joke. There's one really clever joke in this episode.
It's when they're on the plane. This is the only
thing
I
really
remember.
You can tell it. Go for it.
I don't remember exactly how it goes. It's a Rashomon joke.
Homer's stubborn, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to go to Japan. And Marge says,
but Homer, you love Rashomon.
That's not how I remember it.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a very, very clever joke if you're a film nut. So, like, if you're a film nerd like us.
That's not how I remember it.
Yeah. Rashomon is a very famous Akira Kurosawa film about, the whole thing is it started the plot idea, the story idea of one story told from different perspectives.
Yes, different perspectives that have like different outcomes,
and everyone sees something different, even though it's the same event,
or they're all remembering the event differently. So the joke of that's not how I remember it. That's a good joke.
It's a very good joke. It's super clever. It's super clever. It's the last thing I'm going to give this episode credit for. That's it.
And that's like a tiny joke. That's
there
like a
is
throwaway
so
line.
Again, this isn't the worst episode. There's some okay there's some okay stuff, but it's what the episode represents is why I hate it so much. Okay. So then they get to Japan. Homer immediately starts walking through sliding Japanese doors.
Is there room?
Homer, you're supposed to slide those doors open.
I don't have time for that.
And this begins the ignorant to Japanese customs running gag, which is the whole fucking episode of, like, the Simpsons are supposed to be like barbaric, other than Lisa. It's like
dumb Americans,
right?
Trampling all over,
but also
another country's culture. But then they're also
so
gonna
that joke is unfunny for two reasons. One, it just portrays, it's like an insult to Japanese culture. Two, Homer's that dumb that he would just walk through that. I don't think he would be that dumb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's my problem.
Through a wall?
He's gonna walk through because Japanese in their culture they have sliding doors. They're like thin. It's like a thin mesh with, like, it's just they're not like doors like we would have in North America. So you couldn't even really walk through them, but it's just cartoony the way they're showing it. It's fucking stupid.
Well, it's another example of, like, okay, the Simpsons are going to another country. What, like, tropes and stereotypes?
Shit on their customs.
What stereotypes can we mock them for?
Yeah.
And then, like, it's not enough that the Simpsons are dumb Americans. You're still writing that they're just
right. What follows is a bunch of stereotype-driven lame jokes and unfunny writing. The Simpsons quickly run out of money as Lisa complains they haven't done anything Japanese yet. Desperate for money, the Simpsons go on a crazy Japanese game show called the Happy Smile Super Challenge Family Wish Show. The guest host of the show is George Takei.
Really?
Yeah, it actually is George Takei, or George Takei. I don't know how you say his name. I think it's Takei. He's the voice of the announcer. It's a good cameo. Like, he puts in the work. Like, it's good.
All right.
And then the resolution is the Simpsons win the game show and secure their plane tickets home. My first, I have a lot to say, but feel free to interject.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
For an episode about Japan, half the episode is set up about how they get there. So you've forgotten all the bullshit
forgot
like
all that
penny
shit.
pinching and all that
Yeah.
other crap. Yeah. Only the second half is actually in Japan, creating a very breakneck pace once they're actually there. Like, it's just like scene. Oh, now they're broke. Now they have no money. Now they got to go on a game show and the credits. It goes so quick once they actually get there.
A lot of that I remember is just like topical, almost Family Guy-ish jokes where it's like, oh, they watched a cartoon show and had a seizure.
Glad you bring that up.
That's like a news headline. That's just like, that's not a joke though. They're just acting out like
lame stereotypes
or just things that people read about in the news kind of thing.
Glad you bring that up. My next point, lazy basic writing. So everything is just, it's the most basic jokes you can come up with. They watch on the TV, there's an anime that causes seizures. Because sure, some animes are very flashy and that's actually a thing.
A news line, like headline about, I think there's a Pokemon episode in the late 90s.
That caused a bunch of Japanese boys, the kids to have seizures.
But that's not a joke. That's just, oh, that was a headline that happened. So let's have it happen to The Simpsons.
The crazy Japanese game show, because the Japanese do have some pretty wild game shows.
Yeah.
Lazy, simple writing. Godzilla showing up at the end.
Lazy.
It's as simple as you can get. I wrote, these work so much better as 20-second gags in a better episode, but not when the entire episode is just these gags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you, like the Godzilla little thing, in a really good episode, if you just took that Godzilla little thing in there and made it funnier, it would be great. But if the whole episode is just, let's do Japanese stereotypes, that's the episode. So you're just left with an unfunny episode full of unfunny little gags.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Some borderline offensive jokes. This episode is actually banned in Japan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they go to a sumo event. They disrespect the idea of sumo.
Yeah.
And Homer grabs the Emperor of Japan and throws him into a bin of sumo thongs. Do you remember this?
No.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Because Homer and Bart, like, they're disrespecting the whole art of sumo. And then, like, Homer like gets into a fight with one of the sumo wrestlers, and then Bart grabs a chair and like hits the sumo guy in the head and knocks him out.
Hey, that's mine! Like we say in my country, hasta la vista, baby!
Congratulations. I am the Emperor.
Yeah, and I'm Clobbersaurus.
Like trying to make a American wrestling versus like, sumo.
And then the
thing.
Emperor shows up, and I think it's supposed to be the Emperor of Japan, and he's like, hello, I am the Emperor. And then Homer is making it seem like it's a wrestling, like a gimmick. And then he's like, oh, I'm Clobbersaurus or something, and grabs the Emperor, like spins him and then throws him in a thing.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's very offensive, yeah.
It's racist, yeah.
So here's the big thing. And I know you're going to get to the Principal and the Pauper.
That's my number one.
Okay, then this is the discussion.
Okay. We might as well talk about.
Let's just talk about both. We can talk about both.
Obviously, the Principal and the Pauper is my number one. It's season 9, episode 2. It's the episode that almost everyone unanimously agrees broke The Simpsons.
You're not Seymour Skinner.
Skinner?
I'm Skinner.
Seymour?
Mother. She's my mother.
Will someone remove that crazy man, please?
No, he's not crazy. It's true. I'm an imposter.
It ruins Skinner's character.
Yep.
That's my main thing that I was going to talk about. There's some funny jokes in it.
Yep.
But like it's not like around the edges, like Ralph and like Lisa's speech. There's some funny stuff in there, but ultimately completely undermining an entire fucking character and like ruining. Like I said in our last video, Skinner's one of my favorite characters.
Right.
I think he's a really dynamic, interesting character. And then for a cheap gag to be like, actually, he faked his whole life and none of it mattered, and like he's been living a lie the whole time.
They undermine everything that character was. So the plot of Principal and the Pauper in one sentence is the real Seymour Skinner shows up, and the Seymour Skinner that we've known up until this point for 8 fucking seasons is revealed to be a fraud.
Living a lie.
And then the episode ends with everyone just going, blah, 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 blah. This
No,
is
that
the real
didn't
Skinner.
happen.
By authority of the city of Springfield, I hereby confer upon you the name of Seymour Skinner, as well as his past, present, future, and mother.
Okay.
And I further decree that everything will be just like it was before all this happened, and no one will ever mention it again.
But then, but see, it makes no sense because then all those cutaways of Skinner having PTSD flashbacks, was that just mental illness?
He was in Nam, but now it's implying that it's like, no,
but see, the whole thing is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Makes your brain, it makes your brain hurt to just be like, wait, so what?
So, because the problem is you go, well, what was real and what wasn't?
Yeah.
That's the issue. The whole fucking...
And the idea that his mother...
No, see, his flashbacks don't make sense though, because they showed him as he's a rep. He was basically what's the guy from Rebel of the Cause? James Dean. James Dean. He's like a James Dean character who then gets enlisted, and then remember when he's in the army, he's still acting like James Dean.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so but anytime you had flashbacks with Skinner, he was Skinner.
He's Skinner, yeah.
Right. He didn't act like fucking James Dean. He didn't act like Armin Tanzarian.
Undermining his entire career too, that he's a principal and a teacher, and that's what and be like, oh, this is just another guy's dream that I've been living. It's fuck this episode.
So
yeah,
most people would put that as one of the worst.
Yes.
So I know. Ask me the question.
Why is it not on your list?
For two reasons. One, it's too easy. I avoided it. It was just. It's too simple to me. It's it's the gimme. It's the obvious one. It's obviously this one. It's so I actually tried to avoid it and come up with other ones that genuinely bugged me. That is the most obvious one you come up with.
Of course, yeah.
So it was a little too obvious, and I actually wanted to challenge myself and go, okay, removing that, what can I come up with? Do I hate that episode? Of course.
Yeah.
It's universally hated.
Everyone does.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Now, for most people, that is the end of an era.
For me, it is. Yeah.
You're in that group.
Yeah.
I am not. I think the real day the Simpsons died was with the Tokyo episode. This, to me, is the end of an era. This is, to me, the end of the golden era. There are still a lot of really good episodes in 9 and 10. Past that Principal and the Pauper episode.
I'll give you that, yeah.
But past the Tokyo episode, that's when it starts to really go down. Yeah. And 10 in particular, season 10. So I'll just go into this a bit.
I just want to point out,
by all means.
You telling me that episode is banned in Japan.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes, too, to just how offensive they took it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that...
You can't just attack another...
And on top of that, it's not very funny, and it's lazy writing. You make a good point of... Yeah.
So, this episode, 30 Minutes Over Tokyo, cemented what would become a permanent Simpsons trope moving forward. The Simpsons are going to blank format. They would use this many more times in later episodes. So in season 10, we've got, even though it came before this, we've got Scotland in Monty Can't Buy Me Love. Season 11, they go to Florida in one of the worst episodes. That's the spring break episode. In season 12, the Africa episode, which is also dog shit. That's the Hungry Hippo crap. It's crap.
I know they go to Canada.
Season 13, they go to Canada. Terrible episode.
England.
They also go to Brazil. I know you like that one moment, but that episode sucks.
Which one
overall.
from that?
You like you slept like a baby that night.
Oh, yeah. There's some funny jokes in there.
So this episode...
It's still offensive.
This episode began... This is where that trope...
It's a terrible trope.
It became a standard format Simpsons episode. I wrote, although it's not the worst Simpsons episode, it has some funny jokes. This, to me, marks the end of an average season with some of the series' worst episodes up to that point. It feels like the beginning of a new decade of zombie Simpsons writing style. Repetition, safe broad jokes, constant references, lack of heartfelt moments, lame cameos, gimmick-centered plots, and staleness.
Couldn't say it better myself. Yeah.
That's it.
I agree.
That's exactly it. And I have a quote here that I think perfectly shows the difference between what was the golden era and what is not. I didn't write this quote. I wrote the thing I just said, but not this. The golden era of Simpsons weren't funny because of the references. They were funny because the writing was snappy, the characters were fully realized, and the individual episode plots were structured so well. The references were the icing, not the cake.
Nice. Who said that?
I don't know. Some jackass on the internet.
You're not gonna like.
I'm not. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Comic book guy.
Whoever you are out there.
You what brave?
You.
Yeah, that
thank you
unsung
for that
hero.
quote. Yeah.
So to me, season 10 is it has some good stuff in it, but that 30 minutes over Tokyo, that's when the show became reference, stale, basic, bland, topical bullshit. No deep writing, no heartfelt moments anymore. It just was like the show became a shell of what it was, and that's the point of no return. And that, friends, is why it is my least favorite episode of The Simpsons of all time. I think it's so fitting that we both picked what we felt was the end of our golden era.
Yeah, the end of the era. For me, Principal and the Pauper, and for you, 30
minutes over Tokyo.